to the 6th edition of our webinar cycle, in which we are discovering the Genially universe. In past editions, if you've seen, we've seen an overview of the platform. We've spoken about interactivity, animation, gamification, integration. This time, we are going to focus on those creations that immediately capture our attention when we see them when we're surfing the internet, infographics. So thank you to all of you who are joining us, those of you watching us live, and of course, those of you who will be watching the recording later. So let's begin. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. I hope everyone can see my screen. Good. Good morning, everyone. All right. So as I mentioned, today we are going to talk about what are infographics. We will see what they're used for, why we should use them to communicate, when to use them, regardless of what our professional sector is. Okay, we are going to learn where we can show these illustrative creations and also what kind of structure a good infographic has. We'll also discover the keys to follow when it comes to creating our own infographics. We will also have a practical portion of the webinar today in which we will create, within a few minutes, an amazing infographic that is full of interactivity and animation, ready to be shared with the world. Finally, we will answer your questions live. Remember that whenever you have doubts, you can always pose your questions to us on social media using the hashtag #AskGenially. Okay, so let's see first, the first question, what is an infographic? Well, an infographic is an easy way to graphically represent data and content in a way that strengthens an efficient visual communication. So it allows us to display both iconic and textual content and therefore favors visual storytelling. As in this example that we can see here, this is a horizontal infographic template in which the symbols complement the words. So therefore, we're really maximizing the assimilation of the concepts. Infographics are really the best support for revealing information on a graphic level, since they make our content more easily understandable and, of course, everyone loves them. In this example, we can see a vertical infographic, and really with just a glance, we can understand the content of it thanks to the images that it contains. Okay. And also, infographics are always a magnificent support for ordering and classifying. In this way, they're really useful for numbering or creating lists, rankings, or processes, like we can see in this template. Now, the next question might be, why should we use infographics? Well, using infographics to communicate, I can tell you, is always a good choice, and it really comes with many different benefits. First, to create an experience. We are currently living in a time that has a boom of information. If that information isn't filtered properly, it can be overwhelming. Infographics are the perfect way to communicate both effectively and efficiently. They allow us to show information that's relevant in a way that's also attractive, concise, and that captures the attention of anyone who sees it. And thereby, it really increases their curiosity towards the content, making them actually part of the communication. In fact, due to how attracted users are towards infographics, every day there are more brands and businesses that include them within their content strategy. So we can also increase comprehension, understanding. Due to this information overload that I mentioned previously, and it's something that we're facing on a daily basis, we as humans are changing the way that we consume content. Nowadays, really, we have a tendency to skim as opposed to reading in detail. This is reinforced by the fact that about 90% of the data that our brains transmit is visual information. We're actually able to process images 60,000 times faster than textual content. So really, in that way, our capacity to assimilate visual content is far superior to our capacity to grasp long texts or complex numerical data. Infographics can satisfy this reality by showing information in a visual and a graphic way, achieving communication that's then both emotional and memorable. Okay, another reason why we should use infographics, of course, is to facilitate diffusion. In recent years, the searches for infographics in the most common search engines have increased by 800%. And really, who doesn't like to consume information that's complex in less time and in a way that's visually appealing as well? Fun fact, because of their visual and attractive format, infographics are actually shared 3 times more than any other visual content on social media. So you can be sure that your audience will love your creation and that they will want to share it with the rest of the world. All right, so our next question that we can answer, when should we use infographics? Well, infographics are perfect for when you come across complex information that you want to communicate in a visual and an enjoyable way. And it really doesn't matter what your professional industry is. So let's see some examples. If you are a business, you can use infographics with interactivity and animation as the key to reaching your objectives. You can make use of them, for example, to show sales data or results in a visual and concise way. You can share the history of your business. You can explain the value of your products clearly and ensure the continued sharing of your product long after it's been published. Okay, let's see. If you are in the media sector or in publishing, infographics are your ally. They can help you explain complex concepts or current news. They can help you convert specialized data, so economic data, scientific, political statistics, into visual creations that your audience will want to share. And they can also help you reach a greater number of views thanks to just how easy they are to share on social media. Finally, if you are within the educational world, an infographic is perfect for you. You can apply them in multiple situations, such as when you want to introduce a theme or a topic and give it context. You can use infographics to generate a study guide. And also, if the student creates the infographic, it's a really great way for them to show their knowledge acquisition. Okay. Now, next question. Where should we use infographics? Well, the variety of formats for infographics, they can be vertical, horizontal, square, make them really easy to effectively share and publish in many different places. On top of that, by using Genially, the content can be viewed on any device, be it mobile, tablet, or computer. So let's see some examples of that. So, for example, you can unleash your creativity and communication on your blog by enriching it with infographics that your audience will love to see and that will help you reach new followers. An infographic is also the perfect complement for a news article of any type or for marketing and communications agencies. You can illustrate the content of an article by showing that information in a fast and concise way. And finally, social media. Social media is the natural habitat for infographics. You can publish and see them on any social network like Twitter. Actually, here you can see the tweet that we sent out a little while ago, which has an infographic about the carnival celebrations around the world. So as you can see, the tweet is embedded here. It maintains the animation and the interactivity. So you have all of that directly within that social network. All right, let's see. Now, how can we accomplish this? Well, with Genially, it's easy to create amazing infographics with an attractive structure that will show all your content in a way that's easily understandable and captivating for your audience. So now let's look at 5 key points that we need to achieve this. Let's see. First, we want to be sure that we adapt the tone and the message. Consider your target audience. analyze their characteristics, their typology. Is it the general public? Are they youth? Are they experts? What's their age range, their interests? Here, you really want to opt for using terms that are easy for your audience and that will then convert your creation into a useful and a legible document for them. This is really going to help you plan your objectives and make sure that your infographic is effectively meeting them. Now, if you don't know how to do this, you can put yourself in the shoes of your audience by creating an empathy map, like this one that you see here. Okay. You can find the template for this empathy map in Genially. And I'm sure that after you do this, you'll really see things much more clearly. All right, second tip is choose your media and collect your information. Make sure that you find or you elaborate your text, graphics, illustrations, or content that you want to include in your graphic beforehand. A good infographic should be understandable without needing to read text. What I want to say with that is text should complement our ideas, but they shouldn't be the main point of focus. The templates and the resources that you have available to you on Genially will be a great help when it comes to creating your infographic. It will reduce the time it takes to create, and it will help you optimize the results. All right, next tip is to structure the content. Since they contain so much information, it's important that your infographics are clearly structured. They typically have three different areas. First, an introduction with a title and a short paragraph. Next is the body, and this will be where the densest part of the information will be found. And here is really where that visual part is most relevant. Finally, you're going to have a closing or a conclusion, which will also act as either a summary or a call to action for your audience, or will show some key points from the infographic in a more simplified way. To make the task of structuring easier, we recommend that you use one of the infographic templates that you can see here in this image. In Genially, you have more than 300 templates for creating infographics. So I encourage you to just dive into the sea of ready-to-use creations, and that way really you can ensure the success of your communication. Okay, next one. One of the keys to making your infographic easily digestible is by correctly organizing the information hierarchically. For this, the interactivity together with animation will be our allies. So interactivity helps our information to be more engaging, as well as more easily understandable and digestible. Animation strengthens the hierarchy of content while also directing our attention. This helps improve memorization and therefore how our content will be remembered. So whether it's a lesson, a product we want to sell, or a news story that we want to share with our audience, we can ensure that that content is more memorable. And as we've seen in past webinars, Genially is full of both. So without a doubt, it's definitely your tool if you're looking to make amazing infographics. All right, the last key here, when you have everything ready, it's time to send it out into space. If you utilize the right formats and the right tools, it'll be easy for you to reach your goals. With Genially, you can share directly without needing to download anything, with a unique link that you can share on whatever digital platform or embed it wherever you might need to. All right, now I'm going to zoom out. All right, now we are going to head over to Genially to see just how easy it is to create an infographic. Okay, so here I am in my panel. Now, when we go to the Create panel, you can see here that of the categories that exist within Genially to create, you have two categories for infographics. You have the horizontal infographic and the vertical infographic. You might be asking yourself, when should we choose each one? Well, with more than 300 templates to choose from, it's definitely important that you know which to go with. But don't worry, we'll give you some clues to help you make the right decision. Although the key is always in looking for the template that best fits the content that you want to show. All right, so let's look first at the horizontal infographics. So you can see here within horizontal infographics, we have more than 220 templates. You should use horizontal infographics to summarize information, to show timelines, diagrams, or to create lists or maps. And you get all of that in a visual and effective way, and these are all in a landscape layout. Okay, now let's see the vertical infographics. We have more than 90 templates within the vertical infographic category. These are ideal for showing data or complex content in a visual and easy way. The vertical format is also great for sharing on social media as well as viewing on mobile. So you can create informative content, you can create timelines, and lists are best for the vertical infographics. All right. Now I'm going to head back to the horizontal infographic category because today we are going to create an amazing infographic with a clear and captivating structure with which to display our data in an efficient way. Okay, so as I mentioned, we are going to use a horizontal infographic today, and it's going to serve as a guide for creating our own infographics. We are going to start from the interactive recipe template. Okay, so we can preview what it looks like, and we can select use this template. Okay, so here we have the template, and now instead of recipe timeline, we are going to come up with our recipe for visually delicious infographics. And our text is too big here, so I'm going to take it down a little bit. That's good. Feel free, it's really easy to change the size of the text, move the text boxes around until it fits how you would like it to. Okay, now here you can see we have a button that says more info. So we can really easily here with this icon that's interactivity, we can create either a tooltip or a window where we can add additional content. And that way when we add content in Windows, it really gives our audience a chance to explore themselves and digest the information that they want to. So I have my text prepared in advance. So I'm copying, pasting. It's a little bit long for a tooltip, so I can change it to a window. Let's make the text a little bit bigger. All right. Perfect. Good. All right. Now let's go over to our notebook over here. Instead of ingredients, we are going to put our steps. And these are going to be steps for creating your own infographic. All right, and again, here kind of we can stretch out our text box to make it fit and make it look good. All right, now the next thing we're going to do is to put the steps that we need to create an infographic. So here we have, of course, these steps that come with this first page, but this template also comes with a second page that gives us more icon options. Okay, so we're going to take one. Let's take this one. I'm going to copy. Let's come over here. I'll paste. All right. And I'm going to change this icon for this one. Now, the first thing that you might see is that it's a different size. I can change that quite easily. So with Control M, I'm opening designer mode. Here it's telling me that, of course, this is a circle, the size 76.5. I can copy this. I can go here, paste, apply the changes, and then I have the correct size. Now, another thing that we need to change is the rotation. So this icon has a 5-degree rotation. So I'm just going to do the same thing here and just change that to a 5-degree location. Perfect. Now, the next thing I want to do is I don't want to lose the animation that this came with. So I'm going to click right here. That will open the animation menu. I'm going to copy the animation, click here, and paste. And now this icon, this button, has the same animation as this one, and we can delete that. Perfect. Okay, so now that's all lined up well. All right, the next thing we are going to do is I only need 5 steps. So what I'm going to do is copy the animation because you can see the times are different. So I want to ensure that I'm keeping that same look. All right, so I copied that. Now I'm going to erase this, and I can erase number 6. And now I'm just going to move the text and move the buttons around a little bit to give it a nicer look, make it a little bit more even. Okay, great, perfect. All right, the next thing that we are going to do is add the titles for each step, okay? So step 1, we have tone and message, all right. Step 2 is going to be, investigate and document. So you can see that the text box is a little too small, so I'll just stretch it out a little bit and then move it so that it's directly under. Okay, good. Our third step is going to be structure. Again, we want to stretch out the text box a little bit to keep that same look and keep it in the middle there. All right, let's see. Our step 4 is going to be interactivity and animation. And again, the same thing. We can also, depending on what you're creating, you can make the text smaller, you can stretch out the text boxes. It really depends on how much text you're adding that we really want to give it that nicer look and feel. All right, perfect, and sure, good. So then we have our titles, perfect. Now, we are going to add additional information. So we can see here, we have our 5 steps, we understand without needing to read a lot of text. However, if our audience wants to read more text, we can give them that possibility. So what I'm going to do here is click on this icon. I'm going to add interactivity. I can choose tooltip, window, go to page, link. Let's add a window. And again, I have my text ready. So I am going to paste my text within here. And I'm just going to do that for each of these steps. All right. I'm just copying and pasting. Okay, so you can see it keeps the format that came, for example, in this case, it came with the template, that this text in the middle, aligned in the center. Okay, for step 3, our structure. So I'll copy and paste, and we have that. Step 4, interactivity and animation. So here you can really see how having your text, having your images prepared in advance can really make this creative process go a lot faster. And keep in mind that when you're adding interactivity through Windows, in this case, we're adding text. That's fine. You can also add videos, images, or a combination. So there, it really depends on the content that you want to share. All right, perfect. Now I'm going to change this. So instead of enjoy my recipe, I want people to share the recipe. And instead of chef genially, we will just put genially. Perfect. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do, this image it's a nice image, but it doesn't really fit with the content that we're adding. So I want to change that, and I can do that really easily by clicking here on this button, replace. Now I have the option to replace this image with an image from my computer, from a URL, from any of our resources. So that can be from the Genially library, Pixabay, Scenes. So since we are coming up with our steps for infographic, I am searching for computer. So I want an image that fits a little bit more with my content. So I'm going to choose this one, right? They're kind of ingredients for an office, ingredients for making that infographic. So I want to just extend this image a little bit to make sure that I have all of this here. Okay, so you can also move it around. So here within this box, that's what I want to show. So I'm going to say, okay, all right, looking good. All right, the next thing I want to do here is, in this, I don't know if you can see it very well, this is a YouTube icon. I'm going to add a window here. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a video. So I'm going to go to Insert Video, and I can paste the URL. So what I'll do is I'll paste this URL, and here we have the webinar that we're watching right now. The video of that can be embedded directly within this infographic. And now let's see, Twitter, let's open, let's do a window. Okay, now for Twitter, I am going to head over to Twitter, and this is a post that we tweeted a couple hours ago, and I want to embed this within my infographic. So I'm going to come up here, embed tweet. It takes me to this page, and here I have this code. I'm going to copy the code. It's copied, perfect. I'll head back to the editor. Now here, I want to go to code view. Remember, this is just copy and pasting. So when we say you don't need programming knowledge or skills, it's really true. Paste, save. All right, let's see. And Facebook, I'm just going to delete this. We don't need that. All right, now one more thing that I want to do is in the general settings, I am going to change my tooltips to black, just because we have a white background already, that will make them stand out a little bit more. All right, perfect. So I think that we are done creating. At any time, of course, you can preview your creation, see what it looks like. Let's just publish directly. I'm confident that we did this how we wanted to. I want it to be published publicly, all set. Now from here, you can present it directly, you can share, you can download. So let's view. Let's see what we have. All right. So again, we added the window here with information, and here we have our tooltips that you can see. The black color makes them stand out a lot more. We have our video, perfect. So when you're creating an infographic, you can, or any creation for that matter, you can really check how effective the communication is by taking a step back from it. If when you do this, you can visualize the order within the structure without needing to read the content, then you can be sure that your infographic is structured well and that it will be understandable. In this sense, the use of templates will help us greatly, since the structures are carefully thought out and designed to really reach that communicative success. Okay, so I hope that you've enjoyed this webinar so far. We've seen how to create amazing infographics with an attractive structure to show our content in a way that is understandable and so loved by our audience that they will want to share it with the world. And as well at how Genially is really the key to reaching that. As always, we are going to have a prize drawing for one pro plan among those of you who signed up for the webinar. And we will be in contact via email with the lucky winner. We will also put in the chat the link to participate in case you're joining us live and you didn't register in advance for the webinar. So good luck. Now, if you don't win, don't worry. Everyone who signed up for the webinar will receive a discount code in your inbox. So it's time to unleash your creativity. I am going to stop sharing my screen. I am going to head over to the chat and just see if there are any questions that have been left unanswered. Let's see. Okay, I think my colleague has been answering. Okay. All right, it looks like everything has been answered. So that's great. So then we've reached the end. My colleagues have been great answering all your questions in the chat. If you do have any lingering doubts or any questions that come up when you're creating, please feel free to share them with us on social media. You can use the hashtag #AskGenially, and we'll see them and we'll respond to you, okay? And also, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that way you'll know when we have new webinars and when new videos are posted. So we will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you have a great day. Bye.